And how I would sit him down, grab his hands, and say, "Brian, I'm pregnant." I practiced those two sentences over and over until it felt ridiculous, and then I turned on the TV. The news droned on until the anchor said, "Now, turning to local news, another young girl has been reported missing here in D.C." A picture of a girl, no more than 13 or 14, flashed on the screen, and I turned the TV off before the anchor could say the girl's name. That was certainly not something I wanted to hear right now. Before I could find another distraction, I heard the slam of another car door. I froze, though I still wasn't sure if it was Brian until... "Are you working on your rebound, Matt?" my husband asked our teenage neighbor. There was a pause, and then his voice again. "Yeah, okay. Meet me at the gym around noon tomorrow." I began counting the seconds from him locking the car to walking up the 6 steps to the checking the mailbox. His keys jingled as he opened the door, and I was still frozen in place on the sofa. 1, 2, 3. "Shell, I'm home." Once he turned the corner and saw me lying on the couch, he belted out, "I'm just a bachelor, looking for a partner." Brian wiggled his non-rhythmic hips and began moving toward me as though his alter ego name was Be Fine, because he was fine, all 5 feet and 9 inches of him. He'd played college football, and the girls used to flirt with him, telling him that he looked like Emmitt Smith. It was true. It was his smile and his complexion. But although he could run that ball, he could never really dance. Usually, if a guy couldn't dance, I would never let him get past first base. Why waste my time? But Brian was so fine and sweet, and once we became more than friends, he squashed my myth. He proved that just because you didn't have rhythm on your feet didn't mean you didn't know what to do between the sheets. I forced a smile as he fumbled with the buttons on his shirt. "Alexa," he called out to our echo, "play Genuine's Pony." The whole time, his eyes remained on me. Brian pulled and tugged at his cufflinks. You'd think they were glued onto his shirt, because they wouldn't come off. But he didn't care. His goofiness and pretend ineptness was all part of the fun. Then he crouched down, got on his hands and knees, and crawled the rest of the way to the couch. But right before he reached me, he shouted, "Ouch!" He picked through the carpet, then held up the pushpin that had stabbed his hand. I couldn't help but laugh. "Luckily you only strip for me, babe. Come here and let Mama kiss the boo-boo." "Alexa, turn it off. My entertainment for this evening is done." Brian took his shoes off and laid down with me. We loved this couch. It held the two of us comfortably. I snuggled under his chin. This was my sweet spot. After a few moments, he said, "Usually my striptease act cracks you up. You okay?" I should have known that he'd noticed a difference in my demeanor. "I'm okay," I lied. "Are you hungry? Were you waiting for me to eat? It's so nice outside. I should throw a few things on the grill." "Dinner. I hadn't really thought about food. I wished the world would stop right here, right now." "Well, I know a nice char-grilled steak will put you in the right mood. Let me get up and thaw out 2 ribeyes. Can you take out the ingredients for my sauce while I run upstairs?" As he rolled away from me and sat up, I shouted out, "Brian, I'm pregnant." I had tried. Key word. Tried. But I couldn't hold it in any longer. "I'm about 2 weeks late." Then I spilled out the rest of the story in one long breath. "I was working so hard on that grant submission for loving our babies that I didn't even think about it until this morning. I stopped at the drugstore on my way home and picked up a pregnancy test so that we could take it this evening. I knew you'd want to be with me." His eyes were wide, and then he motioned with his hands. "Shell, slow down." He shook his head when he said, "So, you don't know that you're pregnant, right? As much birth control as we use, could it really happen?" I gave him a side eye.